Hello and welcome to Learning with Lickem. Please join me as we discover new things and find creative ways to manufacture entertainment. On this podcast, we are going to explore any topic that arises. The sky is the limit, and there is no subject we won't explore. Here we go. Hey dudes, welcome back to Learning with Lickem again. I actually got requested to share some more military stories after that first one. So let me preface this by saying sometimes when I go over these, it gets in my head a little bit, right? Makes me a little emotional. I can still see some things very vividly. But I do feel like sharing them with people, talking about them in one sense or another, gives me a little bit of relief in whatever way that is. It's not in any way for any type of glory or attention. I'm just going to say, believe me when I tell you that you're lucky not to have seen some of the things that I've had to look at. But anyway, so I apologize ahead of time if I start drifting off or whatever. That's just what happens sometimes. But so one of the things that affected me pretty deeply from being over the pond, I say we. Anytime I say we, I'm talking about my PTSD, my guys, me, and there's a lot of us. I'll go through and name them all sometime. They're probably on here. But we were at the opening of a school, and I can't remember what town it was in. I feel like it was near Baghdad somewhere. But they had just opened a school, and me and my guys, the trucks, the strikers, were, up the street a ways, parked pulling security for something, and my dismounted team and I got out of the trucks and went over to the school with the commander and the sergeant major and a bunch of other people that were there for it. So there's kids everywhere. The school was a brick, cinder block and brick building, and it had a big, 8 or 10 foot wall going all the way around the outside of it. All the way around where the actual school was, it went around the whole thing. So anyway, we're at the school, and we're just kind of walking around and making sure things are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if you read into the what happens over there, for some people, just as it does here, it doesn't matter that that's a school. Like, if they have something that they want to get done, being a school is not going to stop them. So anyway, we're walking around the school and checking everything out. We go up to there's like a second story. And on the second story, there was a balcony, sort of a catwalk kind of thing, where you could stand there and look over a short wall, maybe 4 feet tall, something like that, and look into the courtyard of the school, like the playground. You could see all the stuff that they could, monkey bars and whatever, and then but you could also see the outside edge, the wall of the school from the backside that we were looking at, and then of course the dirt. I say road, but it's all pretty much dirt, and the houses that were built over here next to it. So I can't remember which one of my guys I was with on that balcony standing next to me, but we heard pop pop pop. And there's a big crowd of people over here outside the school. And we heard pop, 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 and they just scattered. And the only thing left was some body laying on the ground, right outside the wall. So we went over. I grabbed, I don't know how many dudes, and we went downstairs and, went outside the wall. And when we came out the gate, whoever was left standing there took off running in different directions. And we went over to this body that was laying there. Well, it was a guy. I don't know what he did. I don't know who he pissed off. But there's a guy laying on the ground. He had a red jacket on and jet black hair, and he had two holes right here in his chest, one above the other, with shit coming out of it, right? And the whole top, I'll say, quadrant of his head was missing, was gone. His eye, everything from like here out was all. It looked like a, I don't know what it looked like a canoe over here, just gone. And excuse me, the eye on the other side was looking around like this. I don't know if he was conscious. I can't imagine that he would have known what was happening, but it looked to me like he was trying to figure out if he was alive or not. It was, at that point, it wasn't, of course it was disturbing. I was sitting here watching this guy die in front of me. I don't imagine that he lived. They pull a little, I don't know, Honda Accord or something, came flying up, and they opened the door and threw him in. They don't have any, they kind of have ambulances and stuff there, but you got to be somebody important if you're going to get a ride in one. So if they're going to the hospital, they're taking you to the hospital themselves. So they brought around this car and opened the door and threw this dude in and took off. And the only thing left in was this big blood spot that was on the ground. But it was weird to watch somebody try and figure out what I would guess is if they were awake or not, or alive or not. I don't know. I don't know that might have been some kind of, reaction in his head. I don't know that he, I don't know. I don't know if he knew what was happening or not. But whoever it was shot him twice in the chest and once in the head. And then they bolted. So as bad as that was, and as nerve-wracking as that was, after that we pursued the guy that we thought did it. And so I grabbed the guys that I had with me and yelled for a couple other, and I called for the trucks, and I said, hey, listen, this dude just shot somebody in the middle of the street here next to the school. We're going to go find him. So we took off through the streets of, I don't know what village that was, but it's difficult, it's difficult to tell who's trying to hurt you and who's not trying to hurt you. And unfortunately, in an area where we didn't have a whole lot of exposure, it was kind of hard to tell the difference. So we chased this dude through the village. Never found him, unfortunately. Took a couple pop shots from people, up on top of rooftops. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. If you look up, Baghdad or White Gold Village or something like that in Iraq, it might show you what a town looks like, so you can get an idea. Like a lot of the houses have walls right outside the house with a big, 6-foot swinging door, metal door or something on the front of it. But to kick those things open, it's not easy, because when you hit them, they kind of, it's not like they just slam open. They kind of, I don't know what the word is, jiggle. They jiggle. But you really got to put your people at the top of your list of stuff that you trust when you do things like that, because you don't know what's behind you. You hope the guy behind you knows what's behind you. But at any rate, we never got the guy. We ended up hooking up with the trucks again. It was a harrowing story. I don't know that I took any pictures of that situation just because of how much of a frenzy it was. But it is fresh in my head, and I promise that's not something that you want to see if you never have to. So anyway, I don't know what we're going to call this story. I don't know. I don't know what we'll call it, but we'll just call it, section 1 or something. Try and keep them separated, but there's a good many of them. This one's about 10 minutes long now, so I think I'll let y'all get back to what you were doing today. I figured I'd try it on the mic. If you got any input on whether you'd prefer it on the mic or on the phone microphone, I'd love to hear it. And I'll bring you some more shortly. So hope you all have a great day. Hang in there. Remember how good you have it here in this country. Talk to y'all later. Learning with Lickem.